Is purpose found or built? So this question they force us to pick one or the other. But the more I dey try to one pick, the bigger the repulsion when I dey feel towards picking. Now, for the most part, I dey more drawn to saying purpose is built, but I don't want to say that without pointing out that it is built using things that we find out about ourselves. I think that's not really why I did struggle to pick one. I don't want to say that it is built. I do favor it being built more, but I don't want to say it is built without highlighting that it is built with the things that we find out about ourselves, right? Because a person who has no self awareness cannot really know what their purpose is, because our purpose is tied to the things that are unique about us, right? Things that are different, that are unique about our lives, about our circumstances. That's what our purpose is built on. We can't truly know what our purpose is without knowing who we are, without knowing who we are in relation to other people, and without knowing how we affect people, the kind of effect that we have on people. If we don't know these three things, it's kind of hard for a person to figure out what their purpose is. In a world that is so big and has so many moving parts, a person's purpose will ideally show them what part of the world that their unique traits, their unique circumstance is best suited. So their traits, their personality, their skills, their talents, and then their circumstance. A person's purpose will show them where these things put together, what parts of life these things are best suited. So they can now contribute once they don't figure out the parts where these things are best suited. They can now use those things to contribute to the welfare and the sustainability of this organism that is the world, or that is life. So we can't really get to the understanding or the discovering of our life's purpose if we don't have like a good, really good idea of who we are as a person and how we affect people. But then when you consider the fact that we have to combine all these different aspects of ourselves, it really does feel like building, you know. It really does feel like building. But again, if I were to favor the majority, if I were to cater to the majority of people in the world, I would favor purpose being built over purpose being found. Because purpose being found suggests that it is going to happen in like a single moment, right? That drastic life changing event that happens, and you get snapped into a realization of what it is you should be doing and who it is you should be. That's kind of what it feels like if we were to see that purpose is found, right? It feels like it's a single aha moment that just happens, and then we just start to see the big picture. We start to see how everything is connected. But that's not something that majority of people in the world are going to experience. It's only a handful of people that will have those big life changing events, that makes things clearer to them. So that's what I'm saying. If I'm going to cater to the majority of people, I would say that purpose is built because that is going to encourage the majority of people who are not going to have life changing experiences, single life changing experiences. It will encourage them to, instead of, sitting down and waiting for those big events, they would instead look at themselves, look at their lives, study it closely, and, look for these pointers, look for how and where these different aspects of their life feel come together, and maybe if they follow that direction and investigate that common factor where these different aspects of their life get in common, if they explore them, it will increase their chances of figuring out what it is they should be doing with their life and what direction they should be contributing in. So that are the first reason why I go prioritize or I go favor purpose being built over purpose being found. The other reason I say, if we were to favor purpose being found over purpose being built, then all of us, or at least the majority of us, will be looking for these moments, right? And the disadvantage that I see to that is we'll be more likely to judge every high energy event, every event that happens to us that triggers a serious emotional response, very strong emotional response. So events that causes very high like adrenaline boost and high adrenaline surges, right? We go begin to wrongfully read a lot of those events as pointers for what our life purpose supposed be, right? Whereas if on the other hand, we have a general understanding of purpose as being built, instead of looking for those single significant moments, we could observe different aspects of our lives, you know, for pointers. We could look for many, many touch points where they point in one single direction. And the sort of discovery of this connection, the interconnectivity of the different aspects of our lives, it not go happen in a single moment. It go happen over successive periods. So it limits the chances of us running after every high energy event where happen to us. Every life event where trigger serious emotional responses. It reduce the chances of us running in that direction and saying to ourselves that this is what our purpose is. You know, if we believe more that purpose is built, we could observe for multiple touch points. So it reduces the risk of just running and following, you know, what I just explained. This kind of confirmation, this kind of multiple confirmation is something that, at least in my experience, is something that you will see happen over a long period of living in alignment with yourself. It's something that will happen over a long period of you living in alignment. It's like the longer you stay, the deeper and deeper and deeper you get into that understanding of yourself, and the deeper and deeper you get into whatever it is you are working on, whatever it is you are building, the deeper you get into it, the more you see how it interconnects with all the different aspects of your life. So the unveiling very slow unveiling. And I think that greatly reduces the risk of us running in every exciting direction, you know, which then pulls us into a life of misalignment, where we are no longer in alignment with ourselves. So these are my two reasons for why I would favor purpose being built over purpose being found. I think it will be more helpful for the majority of people. I think it will be more helpful for most people. So is purpose built or is purpose found? I personally think it is built. I think it is built from the insight that we have into ourselves. But that's not my own personal opinion. I talk for the last video say I go to try to just hold up mirrors and at other times give my own personal perspectives on things, but then leave it there. So this is not my own perspective on the matter. What do you think? Purpose built or is purpose found? I will stop for here and I will see you for the next video.